You are now listening to Nyeckro and DJ Crobo. High sodium content. What's going on, y'all? It's your boys, Nyeckro, DJ Crobo. Back at it again.
Czar Crobo today.
Oh, it's Czar Crobo today.
Yes, for this very special edition.
For this special edition. All right, now here at High Sodium Content, we don't like to stray away from anything. We stick to anything that is salacious, salty, and delicious. Now, this is a interesting topic, and I'm sure Czar Crobo is happy to finally have the chains unleashed.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
So to say.
I feel free. Free at last. Free at last, thank God Almighty.
All right, so y'all might be wondering, today this is just basically about the whole transgender ideology and how its pervasive ideology is basically permeating everything, including tampons.
And it's
what?
And yeah, no, pervasive. I like that. I like that word because they don't want to simply just exist. They're trying to impose their will on anyone.
You will bow down before me!
On everyone, everything. They want to be in every facet of life, every political aspect of life. It's pretty funny and ironic and hypocritical when they say, it's almost like they're doing, for me, they're doing what they complained about that, let's say, religious people or i.e. mainly here in the West or in the US, Christians are doing, which is, oh, you're trying to preach to me and teach me how to live. It's so ironic. It's like every time I hear them speak, it's like, wow, you guys are, it's unbelievable how hypocritical you guys are. If you claim that the Christians are the oppressors and we're trying to push our way of we're getting into politics. You've kicked out God from school. You kicked him out of the Pledge of Allegiance. You've literally been kicking him out of all these places in the country in the last 50 plus years and whatnot. And I will even go as far as to say we let you. Yet now when we're saying, hey, like, whoa, you're like chill, you're doing some weird, crazy things.
Give them an inch and take a mile, so to say, right?
Yeah. And very quickly too. It's not like, oh, they're working. They're like, we're gonna beat you. I mean,
sort of like Israel with Palestine. hey, you guys can stay here for a little bit. You guys can have this land over here. 100 years later. Let me stop.
What are you doing here?
Another time.
What are you doing here? I throw salt at you. Sorry, this is my sodium content. You like my sodium? We should say that. I'm not throwing salt at you. I'm throwing sodium content at you. What the hell you say?
It is sharper and more tasty. You like.
Very precise. Different flavor. Listen.
Put it on hummus.
Sodium. Actually, would probably make it taste good. That's it. Listen. We'll do an episode about salt because salt. The Lord says, "Be the salt of the world." And when you look at salt in ancient times, salt was like a luxury. That was like gold, if you will.
Yo, not to cut you off, but like you're really gonna like our guest coming up on either the 29th or the 30th, depending on your schedule. But you're really gonna like it. Angelicia. I know I got her name right, but she goes by Angie. But
she'll throw salt at us if she get it wrong. Nice. So I guess we announced it. Nice. We got
Yeah, yeah,
special
yeah.
guests.
We got a guest coming up, an up and coming TikToker, you know,
Nice.
very religious, and that's good, in these days right now.
Hmm.
I think we need a little bit of religion in our lives. But to get back on the topic at hand, this whole transgender movement, what is it? Let's check it out.
I think I like agenda better. This
Yeah,
movement, it started as a movement, but now
it's
it's you're see
I'd
they've
I'd say it's crossed into the lines of culthood.
yeah. Oh, definitely. It's literally because it movement I would think of more of like a marching on different things, but
Well, they
they're
do march.
imposing their well, yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like initially, again, those were the initial days. Now we're literally having they're literally pushing their way into everything and almost bullying everyone or everyone to be forced to um not even like them. It's not about like it, it's like to support them. That's
Yeah.
again, it's almost a religious thing. It's as if it's just this is all I keep thinking about is how they can't stand the Christians and
Well,
especially
hold that thought.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Hold that thought. Please
It's
hold it.
hard to hold. Damn it.
All right.
This salt mountain is heavy as hell. I want to toss it
Hold.
already.
I want you to hold that thought because we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that
I'm
portion.
I'm gonna do Atlas and hold this mountain. Sodium content. I'm ready to drop it. I go.
All right. So, for those who don't understand what the movement or agenda is, it refers to individuals whose gender identity does not align with the sex they were assigned with at birth. Gender identity is a person's internal sense of their own gender, which may be different from the sex they were assigned with at birth. I don't believe that. Transgender individuals may undergo medical and social transitions to align their physical appearance and social role with their gender identity. This may include hormone therapy, surgery, and changes to name their pronouns, which is something I just as an English major,
Dark Crobo. Excuse
it,
me.
it,
Sorry.
it,
That's
it
what I came out.
is it's a travesty to take language that has been established for the past 1,000 years or so,
And even longer, possibly.
possibly because it has Germanic origins and stuff like that. But you know, it, you take it and bastardize it,
Hmm.
and to a point where logically it doesn't even make sense.
Yep.
They, and this is where you have to question the individual's mentality at that point, their own psyche. Like, this sounds like what am I thinking of?
Like a child, or like a
No,
confused child, or
no. What's the oh my god. Not sociopath. Oh my god. I can't think of it. It's on the top of my head. You know what I'm thinking of? Multiple
yeah,
personality disorder. Let's go
yeah,
with
which
that.
they used to be. What was the term they used to be
I can't
described as? Dissociative personality disorder, something like that, right?
I think
Or
DID,
yeah, that sounds about right. Dissociative. Anyway, it's
dissociative identity disorder. That's what it is.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But
Yep.
when you
Or
use
that's
terms,
one of them.
right, like when you use terms like they to speak about one person, that leads me to believe you think that you're two different people
Or more.
or
Or
more.
more. Which is literally then when we observe them, like TikTok, I don't know if you came across the videos. I don't have TikTok, but I've seen plenty of people on YouTube post it. And it's like when they bring up, well, I go by they, them, or Zerzan, and there's like 500 other, or I'm just gonna say 10 others. It's like, yeah, that's where the they, them, multiple personality,
That's
multiple
ridiculous.
ideas come from.
It's ridiculous. It's spun into the point of just insanity. I'm
No,
not
no,
gonna
we're
sit.
we're beyond
Yeah,
insanity.
yeah, yeah.
This this is next.
It's
Like
beyond that.
they're in their own realm, and they're almost. It's almost like they're forcing it. They're like, "Hey, why aren't you joining us in our realm?" And everybody else is like, "Bro, I'm still here on planet Earth."
Now make your point.
Oh, well, uh-oh, I'm on the spot. Like what? I don't know. It's
Like like it's a religion, and
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
need,
yeah,
it's the need to be worshipped,
yeah.
not just be accepted, to
That's a
be
good point. Yeah,
worshipped.
yeah.
You must worship me. And you know, I was going to save this. I
Oh
was
no,
going
go
to
ahead.
save this for another video, but specifically, it made
We
me
dropping
think
the salt
of.
today.
I got a lot of salt. It made me think of that Dylan Mulvaney segment when he was on. See, he almost got me.
No,
When when he was on
shoot.
the Drew Barrymore show, right?
Okay. I don't think I've
Now
seen this. No, go ahead.
now there's a part where like Drew Barrymore, she's kneeling in front of him
What the
and
hell? I
saying
definitely didn't see this.
saying thank you, you're so brave, and all this stuff. It's almost like it
Bro,
makes me think of, again, you know, I went through Catholic school and
holy
everything like
crap. I'm
that.
getting,
You
go
know,
ahead.
I have a, you know, I have a very astute uncle. You know, he's a bit whacked out, you know, but you know, he you know, he's a theologian. You know, so there's a lot of things that I learned from Catholic school, from him, and stuff like that. And it brings to mind the worship of the Baphomet. Are you familiar with the Baphomet?
Oh, hell yeah, man. That's come up a lot lately in this everything that's going on, not just with the trends, but the music industry and everything else, and a lot,
Right.
and Hollywood, all these big names and people. So yeah, I've been well aware. And then Bale is another one. We just had the
But
whole
but
Balenciaga
that's
thing.
another one. That's
Oh, I
another one
know,
for a different story.
I know, but they are related.
They are
They
related,
they're connected. Let's just put it that way.
of course.
There's a connection between them. So
Now, and for you guys that don't know what the Baphomet is basically I'm not sure if it's the devil himself, but it's a terrible image.
I would call it a demon, maybe a high-ranking demon, not the devil himself, but
Yeah,
maybe even a possible personification of him. But definitely, I wouldn't say the exact thing of him, but
because
definitely very evil.
yeah, okay, all right.
Twisted and evil, just like Satan. He's very twisted, as we're gonna probably mention just now. Just how twisted.
Now,
What's up, Blair?
and with that figure, it bridges the dichotomy of man and woman and makes it
Yep.
one.
Do we
Makes it
have
one.
you want to pull up maybe an overlay of it? Because it from what I do know is it's got
But a
the
big,
upper half of a woman, so it's got boobs, and then the lower half of a man. But then it's also
you know, that's a good
in
question. I don't
in
know how to put overlays on this. Can you put overlays on Zoom?
or 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 how did you or if you just pull up like the how we could just pull up a video or a picture, right? Like
Oh yeah, yeah, I can
you know
share
how
the
we do
screen.
that? Like
Yeah, let's do that.
that's what I mean. There you go. We'll do that. We'll do overlays and that. We're not there technically, all right, guys? Damn,
Hold on,
chill. We're working on it.
let me pull this
But
up.
the other thing, it's almost like is it a fawn? What's Mr. Tomness from friggin' Lion, the Witch and Wardrobe? He was like half man, half goat, or whatever the hell it is. It's almost Baphomet is almost kind of like that, like the face of a woman, sort of, but it has horns and but then it's got boobs, and
Yeah,
it's also half man, half woman.
yeah,
Also, the very interesting thing is there's symbols. It's like something like this, like
yeah. Let
as
me.
above, so below type thing. There's a whole, oh,
Oh wow, this is crazy. Hold on, let me go back
this
because
is
you
where
brought up.
symbolism is very important too.
All right.
Just in every, excuse me, everything we can look into. Numerology is another thing. We can get into some deep stuff we're not going to do right now, but there's layers to this. Let's just leave it at that. There's a lot of layers to this, and we're just touching the surface. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's different depictions of it, but if you can see, it's an amalgamation of several different things. Wow,
And
this
look at
one's
this
actually
one.
really. I was just about to say this one's
The
really
children.
interesting to have. Yep, that's exactly what I was looking.
The children. Look at that shit.
Wow,
Ain't that something?
yo,
Ain't
hold
that
on.
something?
What does it say? What's the like name of this one? Is it the Satanic Temple? Oh, of course.
Yo,
Listen, this and
I'm
they're opening
telling you.
satanic. You know how they've got satanic clubs and stuff like that, right, in schools? Have you heard
Mhm.
about this for the last, I don't know, several, and they're just, but yet you can't have Bible study or Christian club. Again, it's literally kicking out God in a whole nother way. I don't know if You have those videos because you sent me that guy. What's his name? The pastor from
Jonathan
Jonathan
Kahn.
Kahn, I think it was.
Yeah, Jonathan Kahn.
Oh man,
I
his
was going
book.
I was going to save
Uh,
that for like part 2
yeah, I figured, but I'm thinking of like
or
what
part
what
3.
you sent me and how like that like so the thing with that is he didn't open my mind to what I kind of already knew. He just went into a lot more detail, which was like, yes, yes, that makes sense. Or, oh, I didn't even think about that. Or, okay, that's where that's coming from. Because
Well,
I
go
don't
into
know.
what he was saying. If we're going to bring it up, we might as well just
Um,
pull the cat out of the bag.
so
So people remember.
he's got a book. I'm probably gonna butcher. It's The Return of the Old Gods or The
The
Return of the
Return of the
Gods.
Gods. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's what it. And then the gods with a lower G. There is only one God with a capital G, the God of gods. But the gods he's referring to is so he grew up Jewish, and then I think he became born again from I think we were saying interesting story behind him. So he's a Christian, but he's a Christian Jew. So he's got that Jewish, I guess, heritage, if you will. So he can read Hebrew, and that's eventually at some point I would love to get into the Hebrew, the actual
The Old Testament, where the law is
with the
being
ancient
broken.
language. Yeah,
Yeah.
and in the ancient language to get the exact translation, because obviously, whenever if any of you know how language works, a lot of times you don't get an exact translation from word to word. It's, then you got to look at also context, historical context, which also plays a big factor, which a lot of people don't think about. Just the variations of the meaning of a potential word.
Mhm.
There's a lot that goes into it. But like you brought up some interesting. So gods is what he's referring to. I forget the name of the word he said, but in Hebrew, it's daemon, I think, something like that,
Oh,
which trans.
in Greek, it was from Greek.
Okay, there you go. Which again, so just to clarify real quickly, if you well, you're not, it's not the Hebrew, you're going for Greek. If I remember correctly, and you can correct me on this too, the Hebrew Bibles were translated to Greek because that was the
Yeah,
next thing, and then possibly Latin, I think, and then to English or something like that. I could be wrong on
it's been
the timeline.
translated in all kinds of languages.
Yeah, but so to say, the Greek, oh, well, it's not Hebrew. Well, the Greek was literally the next one translated, so it's the closest one, if you will. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that because somebody's going to be an idiot about it. Um, yeah, the word daemon, which is translated for us as demon, so or spirits, I think he said. So when he refers to gods, lower G, they were talking about spirits, different spirits or demons, which makes sense with. And then it was the Baphomet, Baal. I'm gonna mess up her name. Cleopatra was the no, not Cleopatra. Aphrodite's the Greek
It's the yeah.
goddess. What's
It's well
Isis is another.
the female
Depend.
demon is or spirit is or ancient spirit is known
Yeah,
as Ishtar and
Ishtar. Okay, yep. So
ancient
that's what I said.
Babylonian.
There you go. I was gonna say, yeah,
He was
depending on the
Isis.
culture and where.
He was Aphrodite. She's
Like
been many things throughout the
Cleopatra
years.
and
Nah,
yep.
Cleopatra.
No, that's I forget that I'm mixing up, but it's those deities of and he went into more detail, like the Isis one. She's all about sexual, like anything and everything, like sexual. Essentially, I forget that. I think in the Greek, he was talking about she was the goddess. She was the prostitute goddess.
Right.
This is that. That's a whole. That brings up again. What is a prostitute? It brings up a whole new connotation. It's not just the goddess of, because we were like it just reminds me of just anything that you're trying to sell, which is usually, especially in the West, it's always a sales pitch. They only give you the good, not the bad or the whole. So they promote her as the sexual, beautiful, sexual, empowering. Okay, but she's a prostitute. It's almost like, oh, now we're gonna get some more salt and heat because that's like the whole sex workers. Oh, we're sex workers. Again, oldest profession. I think everybody's aware. It's the easiest thing to do. You're just there. You just show up. Um, and I'm not even gonna get into it. Anyway, so you have that one. Baal, they used to um it was a child sacrifice. So that was another thing which this is what he, ties it in with like abortions and stuff like that. You're just killing it. Who are the most innocent on the planet? I mean, those who
The most
just
vulnerable,
exactly
the
beyond,
most
and this is
impressionable.
beyond vulnerable. Like they're literally cast away in just it's not even a thought other than me, my preservation.
But
Now
you
we're gonna have
see, but you see, that's the deception of the devil, man. You know, that's the ingeniousness of it, of the whole thing. You know, it's disguise.
me.
The lie is often disguised in language.
Well, I'm gonna add even more to that, like what God says in the Bible. He often comes as an angel of light. This is why it's so difficult. You have to have discernment if you're unaware of what's
Mhm.
going on. Like, and he even mentioned what's his name? Jonathan Kahn. And again, I'm referencing him, but I was already aware of this a while ago.
We got to do a podcast on that one alone. Like,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like this is such a mountain hell of a topic. Like to
Oh
condense
man.
this into one episode, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, yeah. But, just we're just gonna, touch on different things. But it's like he brought up something again that I was already aware of before even hearing him. It's there's certain things you don't need to hear from other. You just observe from your own eyes. And he was mentioning how even people who are non-believers, non-religious people are like, what? Like the whole trans movement and agenda, like this, what the hell's going on? Er,
Everybody's like, yo, what's going on in the world? And you're
yeah,
seeing like different people kind of like, making
you,
sense all of a sudden and like coming
yeah.
together like,
I was just
like
about
you're
to say
making
uniting. Hmm.
dude, I there's a lot of things I disagree with a lot of people fundamentally.
Yep, yep.
A lot of
Nothing
things.
and nothing wrong with that, and nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And
And
you can do that. We should encourage that because this
we
gets us
should.
this discourse.
You need
But
discourse because I believe through discourse,
you
solutions
get to
can
the
be
truth.
found,
Yeah, yep.
new ground can be made, um,
Hmm.
and
Better understanding.
better
Even
understanding
if
amongst
you
each
don't
other.
agree, you can understand better
You can
and
you
therefore
can
work
take a
together
sense
or
of
live
respect
together.
from it too.
Yeah,
So damn, I just lost my train of thought.
that's okay. What I'm just thinking, what's that whole? It's the adage. I'm probably messing up words, but the when unknown. How does it break down? The fear of the unknown is like that's part of the problem. Like when I don't know, I'm thinking of like a movie. Like when aliens come or whatever, their first thought is, "Oh, we gotta kill them," and it's like because it's unknown.
Mhm.
But once you start to understand, no, and that's not saying you're gonna accept that, but you might not kill it. It changes your approach, I guess, if you will, when you know and understand more. Now, you still don't have to accept it. Like very simply put, what we're talking about now, I know and understand a lot more about trans people first of all than I ever wanted to. Let's just put it that way. Why? Because what I just said earlier, they're pumping it into society, social things, politics. Like you literally can't get away from it, no matter how hard you
Ridiculous
try.
things. Ridiculous
Uh,
things. Like
yeah,
take for instance, the whole thing with Dylan Mulvaney, man, and the
Dylan
other guy,
Mulvaney. That's my
and
name for him. Dylan Mulvaney.
and
Oh
the freak show Jeffrey Marsh.
man, that was the
And,
one we did the other podcast on, right?
right,
Okay.
the Riddler, right? So you got guys like that.
Oh, Nyeckro, that was good.
Now,
Uh,
how stupid of a company do you have to be, or how
but
stupid of a
Budweiser.
CEO or whoever's
Oh my!
running the show? How
Did you see
stupid?
her?
Who?
Did you see her interview? The
Who?
CEO for not the CEO, the like marketing
For Bud
person
Light?
for yeah. Did you
We'll get
see
to
the
that. We'll
interview?
get to that. We'll get to that.
Oh my God! All right, go ahead. Oh man.
How do you make men the face of tampons? Of
No, but she's a
tampons.
woman. But she's a woman.
Listen, this is the lunacy that's going on, and I feel not only bad for children, I feel bad
Women.
twice as much for women.
Yeah. What's funny? And I've been the last few days I've been talking about this.
Actually,
It's
no. I take that back.
what?
I take that back.
Because they've been accepting them.
They've been
They've
accepting
been they've been saying, no,
people
no, you're
like that in
just
their
like us.
circles.
What
Oh
about
no, he's just one of the girls. He's cool. And look what
no?
happened.
You know what's funny now I'm thinking of it? That's like that. It's almost like that teenage thing of that girls do. They're, oh yeah, we accept all. We accept again. I'm gonna I don't know. Long story short, this is why men and women are different. Where women are like, oh yeah, no, it's okay, and men see something that women don't, and they're like,
Mhm.
no. It's almost like I don't know, like a overprotective father with his
I knew
daughter. Like,
this was
no, no,
gonna happen. I knew
yeah,
it. I
like no, no, no.
knew it.
You're not gonna date that guy. Why? I like him. But okay, because I see who he is. And then this is the other aspect maybe that people don't really talk about is because I've been a man. I am a man. I know how I thought when I was there. I know
Right?
exactly what that guy's thinking about. I've been around him. I might have been him. I might have known people like this is how men think. That we can be direct, whereas women are usually, oh, let's beat around the bush. Like, and sure, some men will beat around the bush, but there's times like when there's no times to play games. We're just like direct. Wait, what happened?
I said bush beating.
The
I,
bush.
I I fancy a bit of bush beating myself.
Huh, what is that? But yeah, it's again, these are there's so many biological differences, not even funny, just mindset, mentality, how you act, how you react, when you don't act. It just there's so many differences in things. It's that, and then this is where that whole protective nature of men come in. Even if you're not a father, like it's so crazy because I can observe it in my own life. Like I don't need scientists and experts to tell me how men and women think. It's like just the anecdotal personal experiences I
It's
have with
not
everybody.
it's not. This is how we function
Yeah,
since we've been created. There's
and
man, there's woman.
and
I don't get it. I
you
don't
know
get
what's the
it.
crazy thing too is like there's some of us. So all these, and no, I don't want to put all these trans because it's not all the trans people. There are
No, it's
some of them.
not. No, it's
There
not.
are
It's
some of
not.
them. There are some of them that literally have they need a lot of help. Let's just leave it at
Right.
that. Not 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 with chemicals and not with whatever the hell else what's it, gender affirming care or something. That's not care. Take the word care out of there because if you actually
That
cared
is
for
the
these
biggest
people,
crock of shit.
oh
And
man, it's not even
I
funny.
can see countless doctors being sued in the next 5 to 10 years off of this shit.
Dude, man, there's so much more that should be
I,
going on.
it
Prison,
is going to be
imprisonment,
class action lawsuits out the fucking wazoo.
and
Mark my words.
well, I
Mark
mean,
my
very
words.
very simply, we can also say that with a bit of evidence from I don't know if you remember, I think a few months back now, or maybe a year, maybe I think it was
A
2021,
minute left.
2022. Okay. The in England there was a hospital or something like that had to stop with with the care what the hell did I just say?
Gender affirming
Anyway,
care.
Jennifer and care because they were noticing like the amount of kids, if you look, because they were teenagers, when that were transitioning, were like the numbers, they couldn't comprehend the numbers. Like, whoa, this is way more than we anticipated, than we thought. This can't be like there's something off. And then they started looking into it more. Long story short, I think 75% of the kids that were transitioning were on the autistic spectrum. You want to talk about spectrums? There's not a
Oh,
the sexual spectrum. That's a spectrum.
yep.
Anyway, we're gonna have to
Yeah,
reset to the next one in a minute, but
we'll see you on the
I don't know
second half.
if all the hats. This
All right, y'all. We're back for the second half. So as Czar Crobo was saying,
thank you for thank you for my pronouns, sir.
yeah, no problem, bro. As he was saying that
Oh man.
you can't put the whole transgender ideology in the same category as something as autism, because autism literally has a spectrum. You know what I'm saying? There is a spectrum of that. This whole idea that there's a spectrum of all these different genders and stuff like that. That's insanity. That's
Gender
insanity.
fluidity.
It stems down to not being anything about gender, but more about personality.
Yes. And this is the very interesting thing and game, if you will, that they play. Is they're very
It's
first of all,
verbal
very
judo. It's verbal
oh,
judo. That's what
thank
it
you.
is.
That was one thing I was gonna say. And also it's they love to what I've again just simply observing because this is one thing I love what God does. He gave us five senses and then a brain to be able to be able to put all that together. Simply observing, and I'm gonna put this out there also. Almost all of science. How did it start? And what is the actual scientific method? Because we're gonna get into this another time, but the whole like, oh, trust the science. The actual scientific method is it started out using your senses. How
Observe,
do you start exactly? That's
research,
the first thing
test,
is
repeat.
observing. If you don't have and here, I'm gonna help out all those how do you call that? Not handicapped. They don't like that word, right? What non-able bodies, the
Listen, man,
non-visual people.
I'm tired of
No, no,
that shit, man.
I know, but I'm just gonna play their stupid game because
Handicap.
you can observe the world around you even without having the ability to see. Why? Because you have other senses. You can I can feel this counter that I'm on right now. There's other senses. I mean, there's an artist. I forget who the hell the person's name is. He's blind, and this guy is able to paint landscapes. It's almost like to scale and everything. I forget the name of the person. I came across this, I think, on Instagram. How do you explain that, first and foremost? Secondly, he's observed like, oh man, it's amazing what we're able to do. And then
Mm.
it's also crazy what some people are able to do, like what's going on right now with this trend. Like there's people that can be creating beautiful things and others who just, I don't know, want the world to burn or just so narcissistic, like it's all about me and I'm gonna step on everyone else because I can. Not even because they want to, because I can. And I want to see how
Yeah,
high I can climb that thing and kick everybody else on the way down while also preaching, I love you and I'm very tolerant.
it's definitely a power struggle, but that whole tolerance and acceptance thing, that's bullshit.
Oh
Because
yeah, it is. 100%.
because the fact that there's so many people that don't agree with it and are afraid to speak out, but more and more speaking out. You got guys like Matt
Right now.
Walsh, Ben Shapiro.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm finding myself. This is how crazy the world is becoming. I'm
Oh, I
finding
want to hear this.
myself
I,
agreeing with Ben Shapiro on things.
and I'm pretty
Now,
sure you
now
didn't like him or agree with him before.
no, it's not like I didn't like him. It's just again, it's things that I fundamentally disagree with.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of the things was was reparations. I'm a firm believer that black folks are entitled to reparations. It is a debt that has been owed. It is a debt that has never been repaid in this society, and I believe that it is the economic stimulus that this country sorely needs because it's American citizens getting American money, spending American dollars on American shit, boosting the American economy. It's been proven by me. You know what? This is a discussion for another day. But you know what I'm saying. You get the point. I'm agreeing with people that I didn't agree with before. I'm agreeing with
That you fundamentally disagreed with them on other things.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah, yeah.
Candace Owens.
Mm.
I have my problems with her, but again, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, and you you're seeing the Avengers come together.
Hmm.
People from
I
all
like
sides are like,
you see, and you see that's the thing that we need in the society in general. If you want to be able to function, especially a society like the US, was very complex and multicultural, people from all different backgrounds and whatnot. Again, how do you? This is an experiment because I mean, sure we can say ancient Rome and
oh
other
yeah,
places like
it's definitely an experiment. This is
they've
an
they've
experiment, all right.
they've had other cultures before, but I guess Rome maybe is an example of that was like the testing, the early testing grounds of kind of let them do what they wanted, but in their area, in their land, if you will, they were conquered over, but they were in their land. This is its own,
No, you know what?
niche.
You can think of Rome as the U.S. because
I would
if
say
you
that's
look,
like the prequel. I don't know,
yeah. You can
or the
say that this
template,
is
almost like a template that
yeah.
they kind of worked
That was
off.
the blueprint.
Yeah,
Because you had you had Rome that encompassed a majority of Europe, and certain parts here, certain parts there, sort of like the US. We got Alaska over here,
Mhm.
Hawaii, you know what I'm saying? Puerto Rico, we got the continental US and stuff like that. It's very similar in its structure. And what happened with Rome? You had debauchery,
Left.
you had sodomy, you had all these wicked
And when
things, destructive things, and it boiled over and destroyed itself.
I was gonna say, when did that happen? That was near the end of its life.
Yes.
It's almost and Joe Rogan was talking to somebody about this, but almost every great civilization ultimately that's what it leads to. And
Look at Babylon.
I think a big part of it is when one is too affluent, too free, if you will, too almost I don't even want to say the word lazy, but almost lazy, like almost like you don't have work to do
Lackadaisical.
because it's just luxury always. And this is
And
I've
abundance.
without and abundance. And I've thought about this a lot. Like there, first and foremost, we're never gonna hit a utopia. Simply on this basis, you can
No, no.
rip me apart on this. Simply on the basis that
Theoretically, it could exist, but human beings, it's far too
yeah,
selfish to
oh,
allow that.
not even selfish but complex. We can't even
We're
right now.
not. We're
You
not
and I.
complex. We're not. We
Well,
we
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 make we
we
make
we
it
are, we are
so
inherently selfish creatures.
yeah. But
Selfish.
I'm saying like in this sense, like I'm simply going to use the example of we can't even agree on what's our favorite food. Because if we can't agree on that, how the hell you can't create a nation? Like, well, we're gonna have pizza all the time. Yeah, but I hate pizza, and I'm actually lactose intolerant, and I'm diabetic. It's like you're simply on that basis alone. It's impossible.
What?
The idea is it's like I like Jordan Peterson. You can aim for that. You might not hit it, but you can get at least aim to try to get as close as you can. You're never going to get there, but it is good. The whole adage and the will to want to do that is great, but you need to also accept again, this is where we need to live in reality. You need to be able to accept like we're not going to get there, but that also doesn't mean I'm not going to try at all. Like you can't not try. We can work at it, we can work towards it, but like simply put, if we can have some fundamental objective truth, I've been saying this for like a year and a half now. We need objective truths. Gravity, just simple things. There's wind. If we can't agree on those, well, I mean, that brings a whole other set of problems. Like there's certain things we can be disagreeing on many things, but there's other things, whether we like it or not. Not only do we have to agree on it, we have to accept it. Like you can fight reality all you want and truth all you want,
It is
but
what it is.
you need to be able to accept it at some point. And if you don't, thank God there's people out there who will literally try to work their ass off trying to help you understand. Again, not trying to change your mind and force you into no, like, all right, you're not getting it. Very simply, you're not getting it. I mean, I've talked about this in the podcast we talked about when I was subbing. I knew I can teach, math one way and then only get half the class to get it. So now I got to work for the other half. Then I only get only half of that. That's what it is. Everybody's mind, not most people's minds are different. People work differently. Their mindset. So it might click one way for somebody, but it doesn't for them. It's like, oh, that doesn't make sense. You explain it slightly differently, but it's the same thing. Then it's like, oh, now I get it. Or just the other fact, like sometimes it takes years for something to click. Like for me with jujitsu, I've been doing it for over 10 years. I'm only a blue belt now because I don't train full time. But there's times where it's like I'm not getting a move. I'm not getting a move. I'm not getting a move. Then one day I'm just rolling. I'm like, and rolling is like getting
Yeah,
high.
I
Rolling
know.
is the
I know.
sparring of that. Just is for anyone
For
else who
people that
doesn't
don't know, yeah.
practice. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, he gets high when he does. No. Although it is kind of a high on life, just like exercise, because you release endorphins. That's a whole nother topic in itself. But it's one of those things. It's like, wow, after 10 years, it just clicked. It just
I know
clicked.
people weren't thinking that was the kind of rolling you was thinking of, but
Yeah, who knows? I don't
but
even,
continue.
they might even be thinking other type of rolling, which
Continue.
is
Uh,
simply be talking
uh,
about the trans stuff and be like, oh,
uh,
you like rolling with guys, wrestling. You like wrestling. No, not like that. It's kind of funny. It's the people are like, oh well, wrestling's gay. Well, clearly if you see it that way, I guess you are. I don't. I'm looking at the everything else
There's certain
that I
moves that
learned from.
if I was a wrestler, I wouldn't do. If I was a professional wrestler, I wouldn't do.
That's fine.
I wouldn't do the what do you call that? Military press. I'm not military pressing nobody. I'm not putting my hands in that region. Nope. Not doing it.
Not sure.
That that
Picture it. I don't want to picture it though.
if they made a
But you can
game
also.
and that was in my move set, you got the wrong game. That's
But you also get to you know, there's there's women that you can roll with too. So, and then others might be like, well, then you must be bisexual. No, I know who I am. Thank you. Don't tell me who I am. I know
you
who
will
I am.
not talk to Nyeckro Crobo like that.
Are you kidding me?
Send,
I'll kill you. I throw
send
you
him
to
to the gulag now.
send him to
Send
the dogs.
send it to the gulag.
You worship me now, either dead or alive. Choose. Choose.
This is it.
What
Yo,
is my
oh,
about
you
that?
know what?
What's up?
I wanted to talk about this too, man. The whole thing with Uganda, right? You familiar with that too? They passed the
Oh
anti
yes, 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 yes.
LGBTQ law.
First African country, I think, to do that, right?
Listen, there's a bunch of countries in the world that don't accept that,
Oh
and
well, that's
few
yeah,
being
Middle
included.
Middle East,
Bringing up my point exactly. So the
which is
U.S. right? Because I got to do this, man. African
oh,
American,
we have to.
you know, I gotta say it, man. So you got the U.S. Wagging its big left finger at these countries, right? You know, and this is a bully tactic. So you go to little Africa, rich in its resources, abundantly rich.
Little, you said little. It was huge.
You know, and
Understatement.
you know, that's what the U.S. thinks. You know,
Yeah.
and you're gonna, you know,
Actually, I
walk
think most of the world, too, Europe, I think as well. Like the proportions they put on the map is actually wrong.
yeah. Oh yeah, of
Gigantic.
course. Yes.
The continent is gigantic.
Yes,
Let's just
geographically is
leave it at
way off. But anyway,
yeah. That's a
um,
different topic.
yeah, that's another topic. So you got the US, you know, wagging its, you know, leftist finger. You got you know, the bimbo Kamala Harris going over there talking about, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. And
I
then
talk to women.
and then the, you know,
What is a
President
woman?
Uganda is like, we're not doing that shit. Get the fuck out of here, man. The fuck is this? We don't like that gay shit over here. We don't do that. How are you going to tell us how to live our life? How are you going to tell us the matter? And
You guys are a mess.
you guys are horrible to your black citizens.
Ooh.
You are the biggest human rights violator ever. And
Did she respond at all? I would love to
no,
see if
you
she.
can't.
Of course not.
And the
She
US
she
knows
just
that.
did her cackle. Oh,
Yeah, she
sorry.
just,
Freaking talk about mental disorder.
I'm
Anyway,
not black, I'm Indian.
you don't even know what the hell you are, other than excuse me, get on your knees.
Yo,
Who's she gonna suck off more to get more power?
I don't
Been
know.
documented. It's been documented.
That is terrible, man.
Also, so here I'm gonna bring up some other history of Kamala Harissa. How many blacks did she keep in prison or in
Oh,
prison for like the whole time
we
she
gotta
was a
brother,
DA?
We gotta save that for another day. We gotta
That's
stick to
one
the
reason
topic
I
at hand. There's a lot of meat on that bone. Pause, no homo.
so it's so it's disgusting, hypocritical. Like the game again, it's a game they play with other people.
But
Oh,
it's
I'm
an agenda, and
oh
again,
yeah.
this is the agenda of the movement. Of no, can't say that no more.
No,
This is the agenda of their religion, of the
yeah,
cult.
yeah.
You know,
That's a better way to look at it.
you will bow to the transgender,
All of you, bow down to me.
or we will
And
take your resources and sanction you. You
it's literally,
you
oh,
know,
and we can add even more to resources. We'll take your children. That's it's and this is not just an idea. It's been happening. It's happened in Canada. I believe it's happened in the US a bit as well.
oh,
Especially in divorce. Well, with parents that are divorced or divorcing, like there's a whole thing with that, like custody, and then like one parent doesn't want the gender affirming care, gender affirm. I'm not even gonna say that. They don't want
Really?
their child to be forced to transition. Yeah, I came across a few news stories and articles about this. It was like divorcing parents.
That's
Excuse me.
actually
And then
not
the
surprising.
father, yeah, the father didn't want his daughter, I think, to transition or whatever, but the mother was like, no, da da da, I'm supporting. And then, of course, with the laws and everything, the social movement, everything that's going on now,
Oh, it's
who
terrible,
do they
bro.
side with? Who do they side with?
You're not gonna fucking win that battle. You're not gonna win that battle. You know,
Especially,
especially as a father,
thank you.
you-
I was
you're
gonna bring
not
that
you're
up,
not,
and that's a
you're,
whole
you're not
nother
gonna
topic
win in the war,
too.
bro. You're
Mhm.
not.
But it's like this is like this again, and then we go back
Selective with your
to
seed, gentlemen. Selective with your seed, please,
yeah,
please.
100%. And this is just I'm sure you've listened to different podcasts on one like, but there's all these dating podcasts and stuff where it's like where women literally again, you don't understand men and how like this is it's not embedded in us, it's innate in us. There you go. That's the word I wanted to use. Where it's like, you know, again, why are men protective? So literally, it's like there's times like I don't know why. It's just I have to. Like this is it's more than my job. Like I can't not do it. Let's just say that. And it's like
But that's what
and they
that's our
brought up the
nature.
historical.
We're
Yeah,
protective creatures, bro.
but also it's protective. And then there's another p word, I can't think of it. But it's propagation, maybe I don't know if that's the right word. But like what you said with protecting your seed, men were like back in the day, if a woman had other children, usually they killed the other children because what the thing with men was
what?
in ancient times is
Wait,
again
what?
men what
No, say that shit again.
so back in ancient times, like if you were to take a woman who already had kids, they would usually kill the kids off, and the reasons
What?
for it, yeah, especially in what the hell was his name? Genghis Khan, the whole like he was a
Really?
dude.
Genghis?
He's next level. This guy has so many kids. It's not even funny.
Oh
They
yeah,
did
I
a
know.
whole thing on
He's basically
he
basically
raped he raped
populated
all of
like
Asia.
a third of Asia.
He raped all of Asia. It's not funny. It's not funny, but it is kind of funny. Um,
No, but apparently, man, he was brutal, but he was a halfway decent dude. He was
well,
a
it's
it
depending on
it's
which
funny
end
how
of the
history paints
sword,
people though. But
depending on depending on which end of which sword you were on of his, yeah, it was good or bad.
it depends, man.
No,
Listen,
he was a very interesting character. Let's put it that way. But
yeah.
he was,
Let's leave it at that.
um, but mostly because it comes down to this with it's for almost all of history, not even ancient, almost all of history up until very recently, where you get women's rights and all this stuff for the last 50 plus years. Like men were the providers, and we have stuff to lose. Plain and simple. Women didn't have much, and that's a whole nother topic in itself. But the reason why you're selective with your seed is because if you have whatever you have is supposed to it's going to get passed down to your seed, if you will, or whoever's your kin and whatnot. If you don't have any kin, like that's another thing. But if you're taking on another woman's children that aren't yours biologically and by blood or whatever, well, how, and then you have your own kids, and then you got the lineage thing and then the age thing, right? The firstborn, this and that. So it's like this is why men were selective with their seed, because they literally worked their ass off or busted their ass for whatever they have, and that's supposed to be spread onto who they have, who their kin. And again, to provide and protect, it's not easy. It's, you can't, especially if you're on the lower classes. You don't have the ability to friggin' just I'm just gonna spread my seed everywhere and spend all my resources. No, because you don't
Yeah,
have
it
that
doesn't matter.
luxury.
People still do that shit. Poor people have the most kids.
Well, no, I'm well now it's
Statistically.
yeah, which and part of that ties in with a lot of things. Part like when you look at especially farmers and whatnot, you needed extra hands. You can't hire people, so then you have like there's all kind of
Yeah.
socioeconomic reasons why things happen, or then there's just idiots. People just I just want to stick my dick somewhere. Okay, and then there's consequences to that. And then this is where it's funny too, because now it's like full circle. The whole abortion thing, like, oh well, then I'm gonna get an abortion. Wait, why did you have sex in the first place? No, no, I don't want to hear the whole. Well, my feelings. This okay. Almost everybody knows
And
now that
even
there is no debate
and even
that
that
that will produce.
that is a whole other other animal we need to cover.
Yeah, because there's I think my wife puts it best. What 40 different types of contraceptives, even some for men. So there's really almost no
Yeah,
excuse.
yeah.
Um,
But
Again, that only works if we believe in two biological beings, because you have to have a man and woman to create a baby. You can't. Sorry, you can't do it any other way. Which is
and,
also, you
and
know what? Oh
going back, yeah.
my God, because it comes back to the whole trans thing. It's almost like I don't know. Maybe I'm reading in, or maybe I'm reading in too much, but I'm going to say it anyway. The whole reason why they're very heavy when we say the conservatives are Christians. You don't even need to be any. They're just observing people. Oh, you're trying to groom the children, to take the children. First of all, you are. You've literally been documented saying that you are, even though all other times you're like, well, no, no, we're not actually doing that. That what's that guy's name that you we did the podcast on? The Joker, the Riddler dude.
Oh,
I'm I'm
Jeffrey
not
Dahmer.
I'm not trying to do anything with the kids. Kids, make sure you come to my Patreon and behind the paywall and don't tell your hands. Anyway, well, part of that, I wonder, part of that is because if, first of all, if you're gay, you can't procreate. And this is not throwing shade at you guys. This is just talking about the objective truths. If you want to have a kid as a gay person, as someone who can have kids, there's only really one way to do it. As of right now, because with technology and whatnot, who knows? Like, well, oh, they've been talking about the embryo labs or something like that. The where we're going to be creating, dude. It's almost. I don't know if you saw this. It was like a month ago or so. It started making me think of the Matrix, how they were growing humans to as batteries for the machines. They're
Mhm.
talking about like essentially a womb outside of a mother, a woman.
That's
Dude,
that's
that's
that's that that's what I
freaking
feel like
scary and
there's gonna
crazy,
be
bro.
some Frankenstein is gonna, some Frankenstein idiot is gonna try and do that shit, if they haven't already. You have these mad
That's what I think they've
scientists.
already started.
Yeah, you have these mad scientists, whack jobs that have nothing better to do with their brilliance other than like create weapons and biological destruction, and then try and play God. I'm telling you, mark my words, yo. There's gonna be somebody that's gonna try and create an artificial uterus and shit and try and
Oh
play
yeah.
with these whack jobs. I'm telling you,
I
it's
mean,
going
we're
to
we're
happen.
we're already doing with food all this fake stuff on was it impossible? Yeah, it's impossible because it's not real. There's
No, no, that
it's
shit is
very simple.
dangerous
There's
because
some
it's it,
things.
it's actually worse for you than the meat because it's so highly
Hmm.
processed. It goes through like so
Processed,
more
highly
processes.
processed.
Highly.
Yeah, I think there was I think there was something that came out with Bill Gates' legs is impossible. Like there was some people having problems, and then I think he commented on it and like it was like, oh well, that's don't worry about that. It's like, yo, this is the other problem. This is the other problem with not only this movement, but like the far left, because that's the other thing. Like the left has gone off the deep end. Like
Let's just
everywhere
say
they're
here
going, it's just they're going further and further.
we
What's
got
that?
we got topics for days. We will never be out of content
Yeah.
on
Oh yeah.
on this
Nope.
podcast, on the show. We will never
That's
be
the only
say as the
That's
world
the
keeps
only I've
turning.
been
We're
thinking about this
good.
yesterday. Yeah. I was thinking about this yesterday. That's the only thing that is, I guess, quote unquote, good. I don't know how
It keeps
I
us
put
in
that
business.
lightly because this isn't good. It sucked. That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that's good about this is literally we can talk about things for days. The unfortunate thing is it sucks that we have to talk about it, but I guess at the same time it's good. We need to talk about. See, this is the other ironic thing about the whole movement too is in
Wait,
so
hold
many
up. Do
ways.
we do we have
Yeah,
time for a couple of TikToks?
of course we do.
Okay. All right.
Why not?
Let's
Let's bring up the old.
let's look at the universe. All right.
I gotta note the things I want to mention because I want to tie in the community because they have to be well knitted together, otherwise they can't stand.
All
And
right, let's
then
see this.
I just saw.
What is this? Should transgender women be in sports? You
Oh,
know
I've
what?
seen this.
I don't. Oh, just
What's all
pasty
this?
things. Screw pearl.
Just pearly things. You mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
she was on there, and what's her name? Oh, I can't think of her
I
name
don't
right
like
now.
Pearl because she's a liar.
Oh, Watson. Not Emma Watson. Something Watson.
Let's see this. Let's see.
I actually could not believe
Oh my
it.
God.
God, dude, shut up. So this woman is a TERF. She recorded over a video of this guy talking about how he was on an all trans men's football team. They all had their own space in the locker rooms to change. I had to watch this a few times over to figure out where and why exactly she was getting so upset. She's upset because they created their own team, had their own changing space just for their team, away from cis men. She's insinuating that, oh, so it's okay for you to want your own space, but not when biological women want it.
That's a good point.
So
That's a good point.
what's wrong with biological women having their own space?
That's what I'm saying. That's a good point. It's again, this is the irony of and hypocrisy of everything they do. Rules for me, not for thee, or spaces for me, not for thee. They always flip it's almost like an attack. They attack first, somebody retaliates, and you say, why are you retaliating? Well, it's like that whole bully complex thing. Like when you're in school and you're getting bullied or attacked and bothered, and then finally you turn around and hit the kid, and the teacher's like, "What are you doing?" And then you get in trouble, right? It's like, yeah, but that kid was no, I saw you.
Talk about transgender.
They play that. It's these childish games. That's all they. It's a game, and it's childish. Go ahead.
All right, let's check out another one with screw it, with just pasty
I've seen this whole thing. This was Vice. That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah,
Was it Vice? No.
Issues.
It wasn't. Okay.
Should trans women be included in feminist conversations? How?
Absolutely not, because they are not female. Next question. That's it. That should be the end of the topic. You know,
Keyword should be. Unfortunately,
should be, but
yeah.
we don't live in reality no
You
more.
you know what's funny though?
Oh, look at that. No.
Oh yeah, I saw this whole episode. I don't know if you saw. I saw the whole episode. He was actually not that bad. It's a he, by the way.
No. Now listen, would you believe that that's a woman?
No,
Of course not.
I mean, anyway. No, I was just gonna say that if we're gonna preference this because they're gonna be like, no, that's impossible. We're gonna play the same game they play. If you say that trans women can be included in feminist debates, you know who also can be? You and I.
Yes.
Exactly. You know why? Because you open the door. Because see, this is what I'm trying to say before.
SpongeBob.
Go ahead.
I'm ready.
No, so this is what I was trying to say before. It's you know, the whole thing with like that the mindset of a man. You literally okay, you and I, actual biological men who don't think
What is a man?
I don't know, crazy.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. How about you?
Miserable pile.
We know again, oh man, there's so many levels to this because first of all, I don't know what this person's sexuality is, whatever, but I guarantee he probably likes women at some point. Actually, there's a term for potentially cross dressers, men wanting to dress like women, the sexual aspect of it, that they get sexual gratification for dressing up like a woman.
Autogynephilia.
Which is there you go. I don't know the name. I don't
How the fuck
really
I know that? I
don't.
don't.
I was just gonna say I don't even care to know, but it's good to know. Unfortunately, it's good to know because we need a friggin' use.
I'm like
term.
a human Snapple fact. Like it's strange the shit I know. It's the shit I shouldn't know sometimes. Oh,
That's weird.
matter of fact, did I tell you that I ran
ahead.
into Megan Kelly the other day?
No, I don't think so.
Dude,
Where?
I ran into
New
Megan
York?
Kelly on my route. Yeah. She was coming out of the doctor's office. I
She
mean,
still look good?
this woman built like this pen. She is in
Mm.
she's in dire need of like 50 pounds.
So she doesn't look that good.
She is that is not
Can I
that would
offer
not
you
be
a
my type of
specimen?
woman.
Wow.
That is I'd
Did
break
you get to
that.
talk with her, or you just kind of like
Nah,
raised
you know what?
like,
Because
hey, hey, no.
I was talking to the nurse, and then she's kind of popped out of the office and stuff. I was like, yeah, I got this weird spider sense, and
Hmm.
sometimes it alerts me to something is amiss here.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
looked, and she smiled, and I was like,
I
huh.
know you.
And then I stopped. I was like, it hit me. That was Megan Kelly.
You're that
And then
chick.
the nurse looked at me like motherfucker, how the fuck you know that? Like I don't watch shit like that. Like I don't keep myself abreast of everything. And I say that to say that you got to be well rounded with shit. But it was funny because I just watched something with her and Matt Walsh that day,
Hmm.
so it
Oh,
was still kind of fresh in my mind. But that
okay.
was crazy
Okay.
though. Little side bit.
Life is interesting sometimes.
I meant to say, hey, shut up and dribble, right? She probably would have been like, oh,
Hello. Yeah, no. Very, very simply put, we the trans men, you guys open the door for us to be there. We can talk about this. And
yeah.
especially as I'll go as far as to say, I am a feminist. I support my wife. I want the best for her.
I
And
think I think
I don't
most
need, I don't
most
even,
men
I don't
are,
even,
bro.
I don't even need the word feminist in there. But just so you understand, I'm not against women.
Right. I think I
Hold
think
on.
most
Huh?
I think most men are. Most men like the main people that's against like
I,
these transgenders in sports, bro, are men. It's not just women. We're like, yo, this is fucked up.
but this is what I was trying to say before, that whole protective aspect of men. Why we're it's almost like it's funny because like I think I was saying earlier, I didn't get to say this, that maybe I did, I don't know, but it's crazy that I feel like as a man who's not supposed to be talking about this and involved in this and anything to do with women, I'm more angry at the fact that there's trans women than actual biological women are. And it's crazy, but it makes sense in the protective nature and in us foreseeing where things are, also taking into account everything that is, especially knowing what a man is, especially when it comes to sports, especially someone who's been in sports almost my
What is a
entire
man?
life. Almost my entire life. It's like, dude, you have no idea if you haven't been a man or haven't played any sports in with other men or even martial arts. You don't even, it's not even close. There is no comparison. I mean, you can look at all the stats in the world. Honestly, I don't care about the stats because I know my own personal anecdotal experiences, which there's some people out there who are going to say, well, those don't count. Again, where science starts is observation. It first starts with any scientist. Look throughout history.
He
They started
blinded
with their
me with science.
they started with their own anecdotal personal experiences. That's where it starts. Then they can expand it further. How did was it Copernicus or anybody observing the sky?
Oh,
Did,
Copernicus.
did he go to a board and say, hey, we're all gonna observe together? No, he was doing it by himself. He was documenting things. That's how science works. Observation, using your five senses that God gave you, by the way, and the brain that is in there. It's like this is the fundamentals of fundamentals.
Mm,
There is no debate on
I
this.
like that.
There's no debate. But if you want the debate, yeah, I'm gonna come at you with this heavy salt mountain. This ain't no pebble or rock. I got a mountain, and it's not. This is the funny thing, is the truth is so heavy. Not only do they want to dismiss it, attack it, delete it, get rid of it, change the meaning and definitions of it,
Hit
that
you
it
like
makes
a
it so
ton of
confusing.
bricks.
They can't hold it, and it crushes them.
Mm,
That's why they try to fight so hard to push it away.
yep.
This is why you don't like when the truth hits you literally hits you in the face.
With that
My
being said,
word,
let's let's finish this because we only got a few minutes left.
Well, I just want to say one thing. My
yeah.
words are violence. That's crazy because these trans people we've already saw in Tennessee, they use actual violence and then it's not violence. But these words, just words that I'm speaking, even though it's the objective truth, is violence. That's freaking crazy. I've never hit a trans person. I don't plan to. I don't want to get in a fight with one of you. But I've seen plenty of videos. We can just stand in their space in an area and you will attack them. That's visceral. That's violence. Like the thing is, what I'm saying, just because you're not accepting a truth, that's the thing. I've been thinking about this a lot. The truth is,
Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that
Okay.
thought. Let's just finish this real quick. We
Shut
got,
the-
we got a little bit of time.
go. Sorry, I was on a rant.
Yes, they're women. What's the question?
I think women want to sleep around and not have any consequence for it.
Hell yeah, we do.
Yeah, instead of, taking personal accountability and being on birth control, they just want to like do whatever they want.
You say this like it's a bad thing.
Oh, this is a feminist debate.
Yeah, can we pause that real quick?
Yeah.
Because when I was watching this whole thing like a few months ago, before the women said so I was thinking I didn't know what to really expect. I didn't think they were gonna agree, but when they were all like, hell yes, I was like, whoa, okay. Now you're letting us understand you even more. And then what they say later, it's like you don't care for the consequences. And it's like you saw they kind of got quiet and they don't want that's the thing. It's like a sales pitch. They only promote the good stuff or the fun stuff. They don't promote everything. Hey, sex can lead to a baby. Yeah, but I want to think about that. And if it comes up, my go-to
This is the one. This is the one.
I want to talk about
This is abortion.
transgender issues. Should trans women be included in feminist conversations? How about in women's spaces?
Yes, they're women.
Oh yeah, we just had this. Okay.
What's the question?
I don't know.
Trans
They're all
women are
there's
women.
so many clips.
So I want to come at this from the position of an athlete.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
So
No,
I
this is
play
different. This is
semi-pro
different.
basketball, semi-pro
the one we
volleyball. So when it comes to like athletic spaces, I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces because I don't think it's a fair. I think as female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
Would this be a
Like,
Title 9.
That's what I wanted to get at.
Title 9.
Do you exactly Title IX? I studied Title IX extensively in college.
I don't know a lot about it. I just know a little bit. So you got it's the thing.
I
I don't
can
know it in detail, but I can understand very simply. Again, just knowing common sense and
put
logic.
it in
Like,
a
yeah, I don't.
nutshell.
That's it.
Women went through incredibly high lengths
Just to get that.
just to have sports,
Yep.
just to have female sports.
And now they're
And-
getting washed out by school, man. It's crazy.
Yo, it's like me and you could be like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to do MMA with dudes, yo. I want to be the champ.
Yeah. No,
You know what? You know what?
100%.
I'm gonna put on a wig and I'm gonna say that I'm a chick. And then
That's the
I
thing.
can be the champ tomorrow because I know there's no female. You can get Ronda Rousey, whatever. I would body that chick.
Get a big. I don't care how big you are.
I don't the chick can tower over me, man. It
Go
don't
ahead.
even matter.
Bigger they are, harder they fall.
Man strength trumps everything, every time. Every
And
time.
especially let's get into biology and genetics, especially around puberty.
We're
That's
gonna
where
do an extra
that's
15 minutes, by the way.
Yeah,
Extra
hell
10
yeah.
minutes. Extra 10 minutes.
oh shoot, we gotta listen. This is where the difference like up until puberty, there's similarities. Once puberty hits, it starts going like this. You get there's no
There's
nothing.
there's no comparison, bro. There's no comparison, man. And I feel
can bring up-
bad for these women, man. I really do. My heart
that's
goes
the thing.
out.
It's I feel bad, but more so I feel pissed.
All right, y'all, we back again for another little bonus 10 minutes and stuff because there's a lot of stuff to cover, man. This isn't just a one podcast episode.
There's too much.
There's way too much to cover. And
You know what? You know what's interesting too, though, is like honestly, this could be and should be a short podcast because we have to dissect go through all of their craziness of it, we have to break every single part and aspect down. And what's crazy is because the pronouns, that's why I have czar there. We didn't touch on that before, really like focus on it. I threw it in there because why can't I be czar? You know, why can't I act and live the way they do? Why is it that they get to
But they would say
have pronouns?
they would say you are being ridiculous. They would
Or
say
or
you're being ridiculous.
or I was just thinking right now, they would say I'm acting as one of them rather than wait.
Let me
So
see if I can find that. Let me see if I can find that segment. Keep talking, bro.
yeah, there's an interesting thing I saw yesterday. What the hell the guy's name is? He used to
Piers
be
Morgan.
the wrestler. No, no,
Oh,
no, no, no. He used to be a wrestler. He's a uh stay on Fox News. What the hell is his name? He used to dance. Anyway, he's half black. He's half white. He's biracial like
oh,
you.
I
It's
got it. I
really
got it.
interesting.
I
He
found it.
brought up a good point. He's like the Dylan Mulvaney, he's playing woman face, just like some people who
Yes,
put black,
yes,
white people
yes,
what's
yes,
his name? What's his name from Canada? Justin Trudeau. He had blackface. Well, he's like
yes.
they're playing woman face. They're Dylan Mulvaney, especially like he's like a child, like a teenager. Like, that's not. I'll get
That's
my
not
wife.
how women live. That's
I'll
not how
get my
women.
wife right now. She'll be like, my
Yes,
wife is not like that. No, what the, they're
this is
playing a
this is
caricature.
why women are upset because it's a caricature. You're exactly right.
There,
It's a
I couldn't even say the
caricature.
word. It's
It's
it's the
cartoonish,
cartoonish and this is like
over
the
sexualized and
extreme.
cartoonish.
Yeah, that's oh my God, that's a whole nother thing, which also goes into the whole thing with kids and then drag shows. Again, other topics bro, we're swimming in so much
This is
salt.
only
We're
part one.
floating.
Part two we'll have a more focused discussion on like one of
So
those
much.
areas.
So but it's okay too. You know why? Because it's helping you and I and anyone else listening and anyone else thinking they're going. This is another thing I learned throughout my life, living in the family that I have, is when you're surrounded by crazy people, and you have no one else, they're all supporting each other, and no one else is supporting you. You start questioning yourself,
Oh
saying,
yeah.
"Am I actually the crazy one?" That's Listen, you can mark my words here right now. Czar Crobo told you so. If you've never been in a situation like that where you're surrounded by everyone else thinking one way and you're thinking, not even thinking differently, just simply questioning, like, wait, that doesn't seem right. And you can't even, again, same thing we're here. You can't question, you can't ask. Eventually, when you're literally forced in a box and you're like, wait, but there's another, you're gonna start questioning yourself. You can literally break and go crazy. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's a whole different topic in itself. But
It's funny that you say that because like listening to this whole thing, and seeing how many people are starting to like agree with it, and even the government, and
oh man, it's not even
and
agree. They're pushing it as
they're,
well.
they're
Like
pushing it,
it's in legislation and
but it's like they're listening to it and they're like, yeah,
without question, without
I can't identify what a woman is. I'm not a woman, and it's like you're sitting there like, but we've been doing this. You can pull up Kindergarten Cop. Girls have,
yeah,
girls have penises.
yo, we're gonna put that in there. You putting that in there
Yeah,
later? I
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
I love that one. That's my favorite line.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
You got to do it, and it's like it's crazy because it's like this is not even elementary. This is innate.
That's what I'm saying.
This is it. It's just
It's so obvious.
it
It's
is
not even
binary.
funny.
It is
It's
man,
not even funny.
woman. That's
It's not.
it.
And it so this is the other. I'm sorry because you brought up another point. It's like they would say, "Oh, it's hate speech." No, no, no. Because you don't agree with the truth, and not my truth, not Necro's truth, objective, biological, scientific, observable. I can't even use the words anymore. There's so much truth. It's not even funny. You can look
Oh
at
no.
what's the people that dig up bones. And they can say, "Yeah, this was a female. This was."
Archaeologists.
There's so much evidence. Again, I don't want to, it's a pain in the ass that I have to try to bring all these different pieces of evidence. But instead, I'm just going to sum it up and simply put this is just truth.
The
I don't
first
care if
woman.
you don't like it.
Case in point, the first woman, Lucy, right? Discovered in the heart of Africa. Do you know why she's called Lucy?
because she identifies as a woman.
No, because in her bones, in her DNA structure, we are able to tell that this was a biological woman. It wasn't. We don't know what her thought process was or what she identified
and we
as.
won't.
That's irrelevant.
Yep.
We know that this was a female.
Yeah.
This was a
Yep.
woman. This person had a vagina, a uterus, all that good stuff.
But this is another interesting thing that you just brought up a good point. It's irrelevant. It's more than irrelevant. It's like,
Let me play this.
those are all
before we run out of time.
Yeah. Anything other than that is speculation. You can't know her thought processes or what she identified as. But what you can know is, again, we have to be able to focus on simple objective truths.
All right, so here we go. This is the whole Pierce Morgan again agreeing with people I don't usually agree with.
Yeah.
but
Oh, I hated this guy for a while. I'm sorry.
Check this out.
I hate his bad work. Like,
You want people to be able to identify as anything they want, right to the
oh,
point. Like me,
I know this one.
In that case, I want to be a two-spirit penguin. Then you go nuts.
That's not agenda.
Right,
And
but
that's
I've
not
decided it
difficult
is, and
to
I want to
work
respect.
out.
I want to respect the fact that I'm allowed to be that. But because you want everyone to be all they want to be.
And you call people like me snowflakes and say that we're weak-willed.
Yes.
There's nothing harder than having the guts to be yourself.
What are you talking about? Be yourself. You're
Here's
not
what you should be.
trans. You're not transgender.
Here's what you should be. You should be.
I'm here.
We're all ourselves.
You have a real
You get upset about the
transgender
inside of
person
a
here
sausage roll.
I'm
telling
but yes,
you
I was about to say,
his is
I can
right
get enraged.
and that my life is more miserable because of what you're saying.
And
I'm an
Benjamin, here's the
actual
point.
trans person.
I can get enraged about all sorts of things. I wake up in the morning simmering, right? I read about vegan sausage rolls. I want to go nuts. I read
Piers
about
will have an argument in an
cricket
empty
balls
room,
now being made of
remember.
vegan.
Passion.
Right?
believe that.
It's on. However, what I don't do is I don't tell people that don't agree with me, you have to be fired or cancelled or deplatformed. I debate with them. I don't like a lot of stuff, but I'm happy to have a debate. When you and I debated
how do you
100
think-
genders, I went away and thought, interesting debate. Now you're here to debate me getting fired because you don't like the fact I don't agree with you.
But
That
do you
is
not
not
accept it can
democracy.
damage
That's not-
people?
No, you're damaging people.
You're damaged. I'm telling you, you
You're
have
damaging
damaged.
India.
Your ideology has actually damaged my career
a
over the
huge
last
many
3 years
number of
because
trans
you've
people disagree
turned
with
the
you in
whole
here.
thing into a joke. I've lost work because of what it's become. People don't want to get involved with transgender people
That's because
No,
it's
you're
all
not accepting it.
argumentative.
You're not
You're not
accepting it, are you?
listening.
You don't
You're
want to
not
hear
listening.
me.
Well, I
This
don't
is
accept,
real life
I don't
experience.
accept that you give in to people who have bigoted views.
No,
Bigoted?
It's
What
a
is bigoted
joke.
about questioning
all the people out
merit
there
of 100
today.
genders? What's bigoted about that?
Say that again, sorry.
Everyone who thinks 100 genders
Yeah.
is nonsense is bigoted.
Well, the problem is,
Is
I
that
think,
your position?
I think a great many of them have broader bigotries
No,
which lead
I
them
asked
into
a
that
question.
position.
If you,
Oh, so it's
Why
okay.
are you
You're
so
piggybacking.
offended or stressed out by people that you
But
may
you're
well
the
never
one,
meet?
because you're the one signing a petition to have me fired. You want to
What is
cancel
so
my
difficult
livelihood.
about letting people
and you have
live
the
their
gall to sit
lives?
here and talk about, why are you so offended?
Do you see the irony in that?
Oh yeah, let
Do
people
you-
live
do
their
you-
lives. Yet, if you're not part of us, you can't.
If you don't agree with me, you can't eat. But you have to let me be who I want to be, and you
There's,
can't say nothing about it. You can't have an opinion on that, so I'll
No,
have you
no.
fired.
And you can't defend yourself because if you do, if you attack, oh, you are attacking me again. This is what I said earlier. They
The
attack
aggressive
first,
victim, bro. The aggressive
Yes.
victim, man.
but
that
that, well,
mentality is crazy.
But I'm going to take the victim out of it because they use the word victim, but they're not victims. That's the
No,
thing.
no,
they're
Far
bullies.
from
So-
it.
But yeah, they attack first. You retaliate, but because you're like, stop hitting me, and then everyone else and them, they look at you. Oh my God, they hit me. You just punched me in the face, and then, but now because I'm a man, now I have to take it even more. I can't no. It's like I don't know when, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I said, about being you're like, oh, Crobo, you can be free. Yeah, I feel free to be able to again here. Well, here's another simple thing. He just said, and they all say this all the time. Oh, why can't you just let people be me? Why can't I be who I am right here, right now? What I'm saying, this is who and what I am. Why is it that you get the privilege to be that? Now I don't care. You can bring up, but you're a white male and you're Christian. Okay, so hold on. Now you're discluding me. I thought you were all about inclusion, and now you're
man,
cutting me out.
Y'all getting hella slack. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Y'all in the same, almost the same category as brothers nowadays, man. Like, yo,
A whole different level. And you know what's funny? I could play the victim card so heavy, though no one's really gonna accept it because they're gonna say, well, your history, whatever. And instead, you know what, for me, which is really interesting, is looking at like black people back in the day. Martin Luther King, he could have done the whole victim thing too. He was beat up and all his fellows on the marches that he was doing. You know,
I've
you
been
want to talk
slapped across the face more
these?
times than I can count. But I always turn the other cheek.
You know what's
I give
crazy?
him
Like
the best cheek, my ass cheek. Amen.
what's crazy? Like these people, like, oh, you don't know how difficult it. Man, you have it so easy, and that's an understatement. You don't know what people had to go through. Like you talked about before with Title IX, what the women had to go through to get all that, what black people had to go through to get the civil rights movement and all that. People literally beaten and died. You're
at the 3-minute mark.
Yep. It's ironic because they claim victimhood as if they were equivalent to the black and movement and women before they had rights.
Oh,
like
yet
they are
right,
playing.
We're gonna say that for part 2. We're gonna say that
they are playing. But look at this. But yet they're playing the power play. They are not the
5
ones.
minutes added on. Another 5 minutes added on.
Look at this.
Go ahead.
They aren't the ones that are the oppressors. Sorry, they are not the ones that are oppressed. They're the ones oppressing. See, that's the difference. You can't compare yourself to women and blacks who were literally getting beaten, attacked, and this and that. All they do is, and this is where they're smart because they're very tricky. They're playing the historical fact. Oh, look, see, we're being attacked while they're the ones attacking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not attacking. I don't go out of my way to attack you.
They'll bring up historical context, like there've been.
Oh yeah,
there was this one person that identified as a woman like 500 years ago, but that wasn't the norm. I'm pretty sure that person was castigated and shunned.
Almost always. But no, not even that. They won't even say that there was a norm. They would say, but they existed. Yeah, a lot of things existed. Idiots have existed forever too.
Yes, there's it's just saying God protects fools and babies.
I mean, you gave me no evidence other than proving that something has been there. It's like, yeah, mountains have been around forever too. What are you telling me? But then this is where they would argue, yeah, but you cis men and women, you've had
2-minute mark, brother.
You've had culture and society forever. Now, this is the underlying things that they don't say, the unspoken things. We want what you have. Very simply put. I think I summarized it really well right there.
Yeah,
this is why.
I think that's perfect right there, man. So
this is why they're not creating their own spaces. They want what we have because why? That's where the power is. That's where the culture is. That's where everyone who isn't the majority is there. They are what, 5% of all people on the planet? Maybe 1%?
Something like that.
Think about that.
Something low.
And then this is also where they use the minority thing. Yeah, well, we have to help minority. Yes, I agree, we do. But again, also just in the family of chaos, I know what it's like and what it takes to help people. Not give them what they want, what they need, regardless of the fact that they're pissed because they don't like your
running on a minute mark, brother,
and your approach. Well, there's so much more to say.
Yeah, I know it's a lot. It's a lot to cover, but I think this has got to be the stopping point because we're gonna be on this show today.
Oh,
so with that being said,
set a day for this and just go off.
Oh yeah, man. We be ready for part 2 as we go as we continue this journey. As long as this movement goes on, this agenda goes on, we're gonna cover it. So
I just want to add real quick that there's one thing. They use the community to back themselves up. They have so many layers of protection, it's not even funny.
Yeah,
that's I wanted to talk about that before.
But we're here to
really good at using that.
We're here to
ooh, that's a good way to because they're gonna cry while we unpeel it.
We gonna do it. Put a little salt on you. All right. With that being said, good folks, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check out Teespring. We got the merch. Y'all. We got the merch. All right. You know, I'm rocking the King of Honka bracelet because I love boobs. And John got the Danger Crossing, which is Castlevania inspired, which you heard me say a couple of times during this podcast. What is a man? And if y'all haven't caught that, that's from Symphony of the Night. You know, for you Castlevania heads out there. You can find it on Teespring/Sodium Syndicate stores. And also you can catch me and Nyeckro Crobo, also known as DJ Crobo.
Yeah.
Instagram, DJ _ Crobo _ and Nyeckro, just all one word. You can catch us both there. High sodium content podcast. You can catch the Instagram on there too. Catch us on YouTube.
Yep.
High sodium content podcast. We on everything. Rumble.
We do have the Rumble. Okay, as I was mentioning to you, this might have to be on. We might get flagged and or video taken down on YouTube,
which is
Rumble
sad. Which is sad because I think free speech should be protected at all costs on any platform. I may not agree with you, but I do believe as an American you have the right to speak. But that being said,
and for me too, I think if anything, we should, with anything in life, we should have, if we're gonna play the game of, well, my way's right and this way's wrong and this way's right and this way, if everybody wants to say they're right, fine, then let's put everything on the table then. As much as it sucks, as time consuming as it's gonna be, let's play the game. Let's have everything on the table and let's see what objective truth will stand at the end of the day. But I will add this: they don't want that, especially with the trans and all these other, because they know they can't stand up against objective truth.
You can't put your nuts on the table and not let them get banged.
Because like I said earlier, it's like the truth is like a mountain. It would utterly crush their ideas and concepts.
What?
That's why they don't want to play a game of debate.
What? But with that being said, the truth will set you free. It will set you free.
Indeed. Free at last.
I've read it once in the Pentateuch. It'll set you free, my son. It will set you. Listen to your Uncle Shemel. He tells you right.
Shalom.
Don't be a schmuck. Take the chicken.
Shalom, my
friend. Shalom, homie. All right, with that being said, this is Highsodium Content. And we out. Peace.
Adios.
They salty motherfuckers.
Oh, man, I gotta throw that at you.
Oh, yeah. Peace out, man.
No pebbles.
Go to school and get a good education. Stop all that gang, man. You not from the hood.